Cornell's back. This is the place shortly a couple of days after Maduro was kidnapped by Uncle Sam. One of the things that has gotten some traction when I've talked in passing about this with peers has been that it's time for Congress to find some self-respect. You could just as easily say it's time for black people to find some self-respect or Christopher Hedges to find some self-respect. It's not going to happen. So you might as well wash your hands of it. They're not going to find any self-respect. Chris Hedges is not going to find self-respect. He's not going to man up about Mount Desert Island or Gail Burson. It's not going to happen. Now, my mother told a story that evidently really stuck with her, made her feel awful. One of the newer teachers at the college saw her eating a sandwich she had made from lunch and made a terrible face at her and said, "Oh, you're eating that." I'm really embarrassed and humiliated my mother, who was senior faculty at the college, had been there a long time. And it broke my mother's heart. And what you have is a situation where the perpetrators have sold a psychological program in the AIDS attack. Yoko Ono has convinced people that Lenin's sacred taboo, you get a little tee-hee, glad it's not me. And her sign that says smile while she's poker face. The king never smiles in Thailand. His sacred pendulum of the trial by Paul McCartney of Queerwall. In other words, he wants to say, you laughed at me, so I'm going to laugh at you. Frank Zappa and Tony Levin used to go around saying no sound that could pass their lips could cause you any harm. They were against record labels. They didn't put on the record labels, we're going to brainwash you and hold you in inhuman vivisection experiments on the cover, which is what King Crimson did. So he set it up today with a girl who has a heart condition. She's deaf. I'm not even sure what she was saying, but it sounded like she was saying, please pry into my privacy. So because I'm scared about a heart condition, I suggested she go to the hospital and talk to them. She said, I won't go to the people who would most understand because it would scare me. They scare me. I think is what she was saying. It reminded me of this kid who used to say, I told him he should call the police about something. He said he would die first. So they have it all wired. Sawant is cooler than me in the ethnic framework of Seattle. And so is Abara Ali. Abara Ali knew Will Zell, the white Nazi. She was raised by Jewish Holocaust survivors. And she's Indian. She used to go to Harlem to hang out in bars and so on. So she's cooler than me. And she's also more suspicious than me. But that doesn't matter, not when it comes to Hollywood. Because everybody wants to be the core individual in who can mimic media production. And nobody's pretending that they're not putting on a show and lying. They're killing children in Gaza. 100,000 children were just wiped out. Just murder, cold blood, nobody cared. They're killing people in Sudan and pointing the fingers of people who are obstructed. There's no way to get help to them. They don't explain why is it so hard to get help to Gaza? Why is it so hard to get word out in Seattle about Gail Burson? Why is it so hard to do that? So There was this kid at the governor's school named Freddie, and he comes out dancing in the hall like he was in shorts. He was notoriously gay individual. Freddie did this spider dance in the hall in the middle of the night, and Bob Toth and Thomas McConnell claimed they put a caterpillar under his door, and they were laughing about it. So they said it woke him up. So you have this guerrilla theater production in 1978. And supposedly you're laughing at Freddie Mercury, you're laughing about John Lennon. So we get to help Will Zell in the program of the AIDS genocide. That's the whole mindset of Seattle's UW Dialectical Tacoma. It's the whole mindset. They have a place down here that says Cosmonaut overlooking the supernova. What could be more suspicious than that? Hamas knew perfectly well what Israel was going to do. You're not supposed to talk about that. Loki says it was a slave uprising or something, and he'll get back at you if you raise questions. Brian Eno has it all figured out in his spinner beanie. But where it comes from is Viktor Frankl's idea of, let me look it up a second. It's Viktor Frankl's idea of paradoxical intention